Okay, everybody, welcome to the end of the week edition of Notre Dame Daily. Hope everything's well on your end. I'm Pete Mulroy, and with this Friday upon us, and with Notre Dame just having a few scrimmages left before the season begins, the last day of August in Miami, let's begin today's show with some of the latest news from fall camp. And while we know the quarterback one battle between Kenny Minchey and C.J. Carr is a battle in the truest sense of the word, both remain obviously very much in the mix to take the reins for the opener against the Hurricanes. Now, in the past couple of days, there seems to have been a bit of a shift, depending on where you get your news from, that suggests Kenny Minchey holds a slight edge as camp winds down, and the Irish look to identify a starter, presumably before the start of next week or even early in the week. And while that may very well be true, it doesn't come as all that big of a shock to me. I said months ago, and this is not to be braggadocious, that based on some of the things Marcus Freeman was saying to the media in different interviews and whatnot, including giving different scenarios and what ifs, where he used Kenny Minchey as the example quarterback, that to me it sort of felt like Minchey was more in the running for the starting job than people believe. This, of course, included those who just anointed C.J. Carr the quarterback at the end of last season, which, quite frankly, it was absurd. Because back then you still had Steve Angeli on the roster, and of course now he's transferred to Syracuse. Now we're days away from knowing who the QB1 is gonna be, and as I said on different episodes this week, I think you'll be ready to roll and feel comfortable with either guy. But the one that I said on the previous show that personally I feel most comfortable with, however, given the additional time in Mike Denbrock's system, is Kenny Minchey. Doesn't make me right, doesn't make me wrong. It's just how I feel based on some conversations I've had, some of the post-camp pressers that I've watched, and different things along those lines that, just to me at least, as close as this race seems, I do tend to favor Kenny Minchey. Can't put a price on experience, especially when you open the season, number one, on the road, but number two, with the first two opponents you have in a top 10 Miami team and a Texas A&M team that has high expectations, and a team that you'll face when you open at home a couple of weeks after the Miami game. Up front, Sullivan, Absher, and Gerby Lambert continue to show out on the right side of the Irish line, particularly as it pertains to the right guard position. Lambert, back from his own injury, as we know, was recruited as a tackle. But Joe Rudolph, we know that he loves to move his guys around in order to get them purposeful reps at other positions. Absher has the inside track for the starting role, thanks to the absence of Charles Jagasaw. But the play of both, and the high-level play of both, gives the Irish incredible depth at the position and up front in general, which is huge. On the outside, talking about the wide receivers, some of the latest in news and intel. Brief absence from camp, but Jaden Greathouse is healthy and again practicing. He's out of the non-contact jersey after missing one session, presumed number one this receiver. As we know this year, he's ready to roll, and he is rolling. Expectations for the Texas native obviously sky high. And additionally, and this is great news here for a couple of the transfer guys, Will Pauling and Malachi Fields have looked really good, basically from the jump of camp. So when you think about that top four, that includes Greathouse, Pauling, Fields, and then Jordan Faison, to have your transfer guys come in and show that they are obviously going to be big impact guys, especially Fields coming off a good year from a UVA squad that didn't really exactly, being kind, light it up offensively. This is good because it's the deepest group that Marcus Freeman has had on the outside, now going into his fourth year as head coach for the Fighting Irish. So that was some great news that we continue to see on the outside, and it's going to be really fun to watch as the season progresses. And just a quick camp wrap-up, no surprise here, but the linebacking group, we know what we have in Drake Bowen, but this includes KVA, and Jaden Ellsbury continues to look excellent. So the depth there really coming to the top, while the back end, obviously you got Gray and Moore back there, but Devontae Smith has been rolling with the starting group as well. They look like they are just continuing to blossom into a shutdown section as well. And when you talk about all three layers of this Irish defense, not just the starting 11, but the depth behind it, even the younger guys. You talk about a guy who's having a good camp, Dallas Golden, Madden Faramo, all over the place. And you got guys up front, that second level and the third level. When you have lockdown guys on the back end and you could create pressure up front, yeah, you're looking at what is very well going to be one of the nation's top defensive units from top to bottom. It's veteran leadership, and then it's young talent coming up the pike, and that is absolutely huge for Notre Dame. And one of those guys is today's player spotlight, and that is Bryce Young. 6'70", 270-pounder from Charlotte, entering his sophomore campaign in South Bend, appeared in all 16 games a year ago, 23 tackles, and this is my favorite stat, and it's an incredible one. 3 blocked kicks, which led all freshmen. I think it was second in the nation on the Division 1A level, which is just an alarmingly positive. 3 blocked kicks with that schedule that Notre Dame played. Coming out of high school, consensus 4-star recruit out of Charlotte Christian. And he's starting to grow. And we saw signs last year that really becoming a force on this defensive line. Of course, his dad, Bryant, played football at Notre Dame before being selected in the first round of the 94 NFL draft by the 49ers. He was a 93 first-team All-American in South Bend, and he was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2022. Bryce now gets to continue the Bryant name in South Bend, which is always awesome and always special. And he's going to do it both in the classroom, of course, and on the gridiron heading into the season. The expectations for Bryce Young are right where they should be because they were high coming into the season, and the young man, quite honestly, has a skill set that is a rarity. You're looking at a kid who's a prime candidate, folks, to be that breakout star for the Irish this season, which is saying something. Again, going back to a point I made a few moments ago, considering the depth and talent Notre Dame possesses up and down the roster. Young comes in and possesses an unreal combo of size, speed, and explosiveness. He's got the capability to blow up the opposition's offensive line and backfield, traits that always serve well as valuable assets in a defensive lineman, particularly those like Young who will come off the edge more times than not. He's going to see loads of time up front and could feature as a starter. And when you look at the collective group up front on the defensive line, you've got gifted linemen from left to right. Josh Burnham, Elijah Hughes, Donovan Heinisch, Junior Tuialamaka, Logan Thomas, Jared Dawson, and other rising talents that are in that mix. And the cool thing here is, and the important thing to note, Chris Ash, his defense, he wants consistency up front. Yes, every coach does. But more than that, for the edge players to be well-rounded. He's been very open about that, meaning don't just specialize in one area, say, just getting to the quarterback. Be able to get to the QB, yes, but also be able to set that edge, get into the backfield, and be stout against the run. So if you're collectively well-rounded, you're more than just that edge rusher. You're more than just the guy that comes in on third down. You're more than just a quarterback seeker. You're able to do it all. Setting the edge, as we know, from that position on the field is paramount, and Bryce Young has all the tools to be able to do that. Can you move him up and down that defensive line? Yes, you can. But you could very well see him starting on the edge this season, and he's been getting some first-team reps in camp, which is great. We saw flashes of how good Bryce Young could be last season throughout the college football playoff in particular against Penn State, and then really against Georgia. Had a nice game against the Bulldogs, so high-level SEC competition. So the opportunity for him to become an impactful player for the Irish this season is very much on the table. You talk about some of the younger talent that Notre Dame has and have been on the roster for a bit. Boubacar Traore stands out. KVA obviously stands out. Bryce Young is right there with, you get the best of these guys. You have, ceiling here for Bryce Young, All-American. I truly believe that. And you talk about the edge rotation with you from aforementioned Tuialamaka, Thomas, and Burnham. Young's going to get plenty of opportunities to impose his will, especially coming on the heels of what he continues to be a very strong and impressive fall camp. He's got the leadership qualities that you love as well. And again, with that ceiling, it's an All-American ceiling. And if you weren't all that familiar with Bryce Young entering this season, my bet is that you are going to be very familiar with him early during the upcoming season. Folks, he is that good. That's why he was today's impact player. And just to wrap from the world of digital media, Peacock announced yesterday that season 2 of the hit docuseries Here Come the Irish will premiere on the streaming service December 8th of this year. The series provides, for those who may not be aware, an inside, in-depth look at all things Notre Dame football. Fans get to see how players approach their daily lives from social, academic and athletic standpoints. And I watched, season one. It was great. It really is a nice way to get to know many of the folks involved with the team more so than you would just being a fan or a reporter or a member of the media. You get the interactions with the players and the coaches, how they prepare for football, yes, for practice, yes, in the classroom as well, and then of course having that ever important social life, which you never want to lose. It's a big part of it, being a student athlete, especially when the pressure of being a Notre Dame footballer is on your shoulders, in addition to the academic demands that exist within the University of Notre Dame. So it's a great show. I do encourage watching it on Peacock, which is going to anchor all the Notre Dame home games this year on the streaming service, in addition to all but one of them being on NBC. So you get to check out some academic achievements. You learn some personal stories about the players and the coaches. It's a fun layer to experience following and rooting for Notre Dame football, but on a different level. So you get a chance to check it out. Go back if you didn't watch it. Season 1 on Peacock, Season 2, Here Come the Irish, premiering on the network, on Peacock streaming service, December 8th of 2025. So I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. I'll start getting into the Irish upcoming schedule for the season, which, as we know, opens August 31st with the Miami Hurricanes. So we'll do a little Miami preview on Monday, and then we're off and running with the rest of the schedule. We are basically 2.5 weeks away from this thing. So have a great weekend. I will see you all at the top of next week. And as always, go Irish.